Question. Upshifting or downshifting in a curve? Option number 1. Should only be done if it can be done smoothly. Option number 2. Is better than shifting before the curve. Option number 3. Is the best way to control your speed. The answer is option number 1. Should only be done if it can be done smoothly. Note: it is best to change gears before starting a turn. However, sometimes you may need to shift while in the turn. Remember to shift smoothly because a sudden change in power to the rear wheel can cause a skid. Question. To avoid confusing other drivers, you should: Option number 1. Increase the following distance between your motorcycle and the vehicle in front of you if you are being tailgated. Option number 2. Make sure your turn signal turns off after you finish a turn. Option number 3. Use your horn only in emergency situations. The answer is option number 2. Make sure your turn signals turns off after you finish a turn. Note: using your turn signals before each turn reduces confusion and frustration for the traffic around you. Once you complete your turn, be sure to turn them off or a driver may pull directly into your path thinking you plan to turn again. Question. Dash is a major factor in collisions caused by motorcycles. Option number 1. Following too closely. Option number 2. Lane sharing. Option number 3. Not being seen by other drivers. The answer is option number 1. Following too closely. Note: following too closely, tailgating is a major factor in collisions involving motorcyclists. In traffic, motorcycles need as much distance to stop as other vehicles. Normally, you should maintain a 2-second following distance. Question. If your motorcycle starts to wander back and forth while riding over metal bridge gratings, you should: Option number 1. Downshift immediately to a lower gear to improve traction. Option number 2. Proceed in a zigzag pattern until you cross the bridge. Option number 3. Relax, stay on course and ride straight across. The answer is option number 3. Relax, stay on course and ride straight across. Note: riding over bridge gratings may cause your motorcycle to wave. This uneasy wandering feeling is generally not hazardous. Relax and maintain a steady speed and ride straight across. Question. If you must carry a load, it should be: Option number 1. Either over or in front of the rear axle. Option number 2. Carried on the gas tank in front of the driver. Option number 3. Piled up against a CC bar or frame on the back of the seat. The answer is option number 1. Either over or in front of the rear axle. Note: most motorcycles are not designed to carry much cargo. Small loads can be carried safely if the load is kept in low position and fastened properly by placing the load over or in front of the rear axle. Mounting a load behind the rear axle affects how the motorcycle turns and brakes. Question. Grabbing the front brake or jamming down on the rear brake? Option number 1. Can cause the brakes to lock. Option number 2. Is the best way to stop in an emergency. Option number 3. Is the best way to slow down when the streets are wet. The answer is option number 1. Can cause the brakes to lock. Note: when making a normal non-emergency stop, use both brakes at the same time and downshift. Grabbing at the front brake or jamming down on the rear brake can cause the brakes to lock and result in control problems. Question: what is the best way to stay out of trouble while riding a motorcycle? Option number 1. To see it coming by looking well ahead. Option number 2. By avoiding high density traffic areas. Option number 3. By increasing the following distance between your motorcycle and the vehicle in front of you. The answer is option number 1. To see it coming by looking well ahead. Note: as a motorcycle rider, you cannot be sure that others will see you or ill the right of way. To reduce the chances of a trouble while riding, scan your path of travel. Look at least 10 to 15 seconds ahead. Question: a motorcycle rider has an advantage over an automobile driver when passing parked vehicles because... Option number 1. A motorcycle can accelerate faster than a car. Option number 2. A motorcycle rider can avoid the problems of opening doors and people stepping out from between vehicles by driving in the left part of the lane. Option number 3. Motorcycles have a shorter stopping distance. The answer is option number 2. A motorcycle rider can avoid the problems of opening doors and people stepping out from between vehicles by driving in the left part of the lane. Note: when passing parked vehicles, stay towards the left portion of your lane. This way you can avoid problems caused by doors opening, drivers getting out of vehicles, or people stepping from between vehicles. If oncoming traffic is present, it is usually best to remain in the center portion of the lane to maximize the space around you. Question: brightly colored reflective helmets and clothing. Option number 1. Should only be worn while riding at night. Option number 2. Can make motorcycle riders easier to see. Option number 3. Do not increase a motorcycle rider's safety. The answer is option number 2. Can make motorcycle riders easier to see. Note: bright orange, red, yellow or green jackets or vests are the best for being seen. Brightly colored helmets can also help others see you. Reflective material on a vest and on the sides of the helmet will help drivers see you from the side. Question: to execute a turn safely, a motorcycle rider should always... Option number 1. Lean the motorcycle in the direction of the curve or turn. Option number 2. Slow down in the turn. Option number 3. Turn using the handlebars only. The answer is option number 1. Lean the motorcycle in the direction of the curve or turn. Note: in normal turns, the rider and the motorcycle should lean together at the same angle. In slow tight turns, the rider should keep his or her body straight and only lean the motorcycle. Question: what are the requirements for wearing a helmet? Option number 1. Passengers only are required to wear helmets. Option number 2. All motorcycle riders and passengers are required to wear helmets at all times. Option number 3. Helmets are not required while driving on city streets. The answer is option number 2. All motorcycle riders and passengers are required to wear helmets at all times. Note: all riders and passengers are required to wear a US DOT compliant motorcycle safety helmet when riding a motorcycle, motor-driven cycle or motorized bicycle. Question: passengers on motorcycles should... Option number 1. Put their feet on the ground when the motorcycle is stopped. Option number 2. Not ride without a backrest. Option number 3. Should sit as far forward as possible without crowding you. The answer is option number 3. Should sit as far forward as possible without crowding you. Note: motorcycle passengers should get on the motorcycle only after you start the engine. Sit as far forward as possible without crowding you. Hold firmly to your waist, hips or belt. Keep both feet on the footrest even when stopped. Question: when riding with a group of motorcyclists, a staggered formation, option number 1, is recommended at all times. Option number 2, should not be used when entering or exiting a highway. Option number 3, should be used when riding on curbs. The answer is option number 2, should not be used when entering or exiting a highway. Note: when riding with a group, staggered formation is the best way to keep ranks close and maintain an adequate space cushion. However, motorcyclists should move in a single file formation when riding curbs, turning and entering or leaving a highway. Question: eye protection, option number 1, is not needed if your motorcycle is equipped with a windshield. Option number 2, is only needed when riding in bad weather. Option number 3, should give a clear view to either side. The answer is option number 3, should give a clear view to either side. Note: effective eye or face shield protection must be free of scratches, be resistant to punctures, give a clear view to either side, fasten securely so it does not blow off or up, permit air to pass through to reduce fogging, permit enough room for eyeglasses or sunglasses if needed. Question: a primary cause of single vehicle motorcycle collision is option number 1, motorcyclist's tendency to drive too fast for weather conditions. Option number 2, motorcyclists running wide in a curve or turn and colliding with the roadway or a fixed object. Option number 3, motorcyclists running off the road while trying to avoid a collision with another vehicle. The answer is option number 2, motorcyclists running wide in a curve or turn and colliding with the roadway or a fixed object. Note: a primary cause of single vehicle collision is motorcyclists running wide in a curve or turn, causing the motorcycle to leave the roadway or collide with an object. Question: the best lane position for a motorcycle? Option number 1, is in the left part of the lane next to the central line. Option number 2, is in the right part of the lane next to the curb. Option number 3, can vary depending on road and or traffic conditions. The answer is option number 3, can vary depending on road and or traffic conditions. Note: in general, there is no best lane position for motorcycle riders to be seen and maintain a space cushion around the motorcycle. Position yourself in the lane that allows the most visibility and space around you. Change your lane position as traffic and road condition changes. Question: when riding at night you should option number 1, move closer to the vehicle in front of you to use its lights to see further down the road. Option number 2, keep driving at your normal speed because slowing down would increase the chance of being struck from behind. Option number 3, reduce your speed because it is harder to see something lying in the road. The answer is option number 3, reduce your speed because it is harder to see something lying in the road. Note: at night ride even slower than you would during the day, particularly on roads you do not know well. This increases your chances of avoiding a hazard. Question: you should operate the engine cutoff switch and pull in the clutch when option number 1, the throttle is stuck and you can't free it. Option number 2, you start to lose control in a curve. Option number 3, the motorcycle starts to wobble. The answer is option number 1, the throttle is stuck and you can't free it. Note: if the throttle stucks, immediately operate the engine cutoff switch and pull in the clutch at the same time. This will remove the power from the rear wheel, though engine noise may not immediately decline. Once the motorcycle is under control, leave the road and stop. Question. To operate a moped, you must have at least a dash license. Option number 1. Class M1. Option number 2. Class M2. Option number 3. Class C. The answer is option number 2. Class M2. Note: with Class M2 license, you may operate any motorized bicycle, moped or motorized scooter. With Class M1 license, you may operate any two-wheel motorcycle, motor-driven cycle or motorized scooter and all vehicles listed under Class M2.